Good afternoon. The hour is 1 p.m. and it is your weekly news roundup that comes to you every Sunday afternoon. Welcome to this particular program. My name is SANDRAH KAHUNDE and I'm happy to be here to serve you. Now, straight into our activities this Sunday. President Yoweri Museveni this week warned against misusing funds for parish development model. The president, who was addressing members of parliament, said he has noted some confusion in implementing the PDM and soon will have a permanent solution. President Museveni says he will soon convene an NRM caucus meeting to forge a cemented approach to the challenges affecting PDM. The president was addressing members of the 11th Parliament in Kololo, Kampala.
In his address to the 11th Parliament, President Yoweri Museveni, who is a regular preacher of wealth creation, reminded the MPs the objectives of parish development model, which is based on the pillar of socio-economic transformation.
With all the PDM funds, the modes were that government officials were the ones selecting the beneficiaries.
President Museveni grounded the experience of the army through Operation Wealth Creation, which he says performed well despite complaints which later surfaced, including selfish interests by implementers and providing poor quality supplies.
That is when I decided that the UPDF must get out of this effort because the image of the wider force was going to be ruined by the mistakes of these fellows who were in Operation Wealth Creation, who had lost their straightforwardness.
According to President Museveni, in his recent tour to the Acholi region, he noted several mischiefs in the implementation of PDM, including paying for SACCO membership, commercial officers calling for illegal meetings, and inadequacies in the funds to be borrowed, among others.
Then in Aswa, they were called, instead of going to the parish, they were called to the sub-county so that people get tired and don't go. And when they were called to go to the sub-county, they were told, each parish bring 30-30. Who told you to bring? This is not indirect elections of 30-30. A parish circle is for all members.
President has called upon members of parliament to preach the gospel of wealth creation to ensure the success of PDM and avoid selfish interests of fronting support for political capital only.
You, the members of parliament, should take more time with the people. Don't go and just lecture. Sindio. The man is talking to himself. No. Talk and let them also talk to you. And then you see what is, try to discern what is holding them back. And don't buy food and all those things. If they don't want to come, let them not come. You tell them that I don't have money to buy food and all that because you are not a hotel.
President also described the PDM and the Myoga funds as toxic, warning against diversion of the funds.
There will be an example to the rest of the potential flies. Even if the money is sitting there, let it sit there until the circles are ready. Much of the money is still on the accounts. According to the Treasury, another shilling 476 billion.9 is at the Treasury waiting to be sent once the original portion has been utilized.
The President, who says will convene an NRM caucus to further discussions of PDM, has also pledged to contribute to an oversight role by visiting different areas monthly and ascertain the progress of the PDM.
I'll be touring 2 zones per month, and I'm sure some people will listen to what I'm saying. because they have done it before.
He has been very clear. It's not only MPs, not anybody, not anybody. It must be everybody's effort to make sure, even the electorate, because if you remember where he talked about people, the youth, that they find us somewhere on stage and ask us, we hear PDM, we hear Myoga, where is it? It is incumbent upon them to go even to the focal areas and getting first-hand information.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Guchabinji, UBC News.
In more updates, President Yoweri Museveni this week asked the Western world to stop wasting time on the unacceptable vice of homosexuality while addressing Parliament at Kololo. President Museveni reiterated that homosexuality is a deviation from normal, that Uganda has a country that won't embrace that particular vice. Now, he told Parliament that he is yet to create time to discuss the vice and establish whether the vice is created by nature. As the West put it, the anti-homosexuality bill is currently in Parliament in the Parliamentary Committee on Legal Affairs and for scrutiny, awaiting its passing. Well, earlier on, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, briefed the House on the 24 bills so far passed by Parliament.
Your guidance on concerns on the threats of homosexuality, what they pose to our children and society. The 11th Parliament has embarked on strengthening the legal regime to erect the moral firewall to protect and conserve our cherished cultural values as people. The House awaits the second reading of the anti-sexual bill, which is currently before the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The 11th Parliament is cognizant of the importance of maintaining our moral values as a foundation of order, sustainable growth and development.
Europeans and other groups marry cousins and near relatives. Here, to marry within the clan is taboo, zero. Should we impose sanctions on them for marrying relatives? So we should put sanctions on people who are marrying their cousins in other parts of the world. This is not our job. If they are marrying their cousins, that's their problem. Sex in Uganda and maybe in other parts of Africa is confidential. Even heterosexuality, even the heterosexuals, they do it confidentially. How do we come to know that you are a homosexual unless you publicize it? We shall discuss all this.
Now, moving on. President Museveni this week directed the Attorney General to make a follow-up with the company of the Sino truck that killed 3 students of Kasaka Secondary School to ensure that all the families of the affected students are compensated. The President also directed the State House Controller to send a contribution of 5 million to each family that lost their child and 1 million shillings to those whose children survived with injuries. Well, he made this pronouncement while addressing Parliament still at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds on Thursday afternoon.
On Tuesday, a Sino truck registration number UBL 790J rammed into Kasaka Secondary School in Gomba district. 3 students died instantly and the 4th one died while receiving treatment. The accident also injured 18 other students, throwing their families into a state of emotional entanglement. President Yoweri Museveni has joined other Ugandans in condoling with the bereaved families. The President has extended financial condolence to the bereaved families and subsidized the treatment for the injured students.
the State House Controller to send 5 million shillings to each of the families of the 4 students that died in that accident. I'm also directing the State House Controller to give 1 million shillings each to the 14 students that are injured and are in Gombe Hospital.
The President has directed the Attorney General and Prime Minister to ensure that affected families are compensated by the Sino truck proprietors.
The Prime Minister and the Attorney General should get in touch with the families of the dead children and the injured to ensure that the truck owners compensate the victims and their families according to the law.
The Kasasa Secondary School accident happened around 1500 hours after the Sino truck driver lost control, hence proceeding through the school fence to the computer laboratory where students were having their lessons. Susan Naung and Gloria Guitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
In other activities still related to state, the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja this week assured Chotera district of NRM government commitment to rehabilitate the Masaka Chotera Mukula Road to ease transport. She made the remarks while presiding over the Chotera Women's Day celebrations held at Chotera grounds in Chotera Town Council on Friday.
Prime Minister
Masaka Chotera Mutukula 90-kilometer road connects Uganda to Tanzania, as well as a route for imports and exports into and out of the country. Prime Minister Robin Anabanja says that government is now identifying a contractor to rehabilitate and expand the road.
Bana etwina omukisa ngaba na Uganda ngaba na Chotera. Government yabawereza abakugu yabawereza kampuni eyebinazi. Abantu be Kalangala bwe twagendayo twalabanga abantu bakulakulanye. Tubasaba mujumbire namwe mubeere ba outgrowers nga muwereza mu kampuni eyo.
While commissioning the multi-billion district administration block, Nabanja asked leaders of Chotera to work as a team.
Chairman LC5 oli mukulembeze wa wano mwena tubagala. Kitu mwena NRM webagala. All your contribution is required to put this district.
Nabanja, on behalf of President Yoweri Museveni, donated a brand new motorcycle to the chairperson to help her mobilize for NRM.
Owero C1 ezo sente za Museveni zenali sina sente. Egende ekola emirimu gya NRM wano ekyotera.
The day was also used to celebrate the belated NRM Liberation Day for Chotera district.
Sironko District National Resistance Movement party leaders and supporters this week celebrated NRM Liberation Day with a call on government to deliver quality services to the hard-to-reach areas. The National Vice Chairperson NRM Alhaj Moses Chigongo officiated the event.
Viva! Viva wananchi wa Uganda! Viva! Viva! Viva chama cha NRM! Viva!
Sironko District has held a belated National Resistance Movement Liberation Day at an event held at Sironko High School playground.
By the poor road network. During the rainy season, perishables go to waste as we lack bulking and value addition centers. We request to support the tomato growers of Sironko by constructing a processing factory, which will curb on wastage, especially during the wet season.
The NRM Party National Vice Chairperson Alhaj Moses Chigongo officiated over the event and appealed for unity among leaders.
I'm appealing to the leaders, start mobilizing our people down there. Why don't you want to listen to others?
He also challenged the Sironko leaders to sensitize residents on the parish development model if they are to uplift their household incomes.
You, the leaders, educate our people. The parish development model will help our people in the villages.
Chigongo further advised the party members to desist from acts that can scare away members.
Leaders who are here now present, who are listening to me, there is one thing which you have started which is wrong. You don't want other people to come on board. And if you see them coming, young people to join the movement, you just silence them. That's not nice.
The NRM Vice Chairperson Eastern Region, Captain Mike Mkula, also graced the occasion.
Without unity, a people cannot blossom. It is important that cohesion and internal resilience is compounded by people forgiving each other and working for the integration of the country.
Story compiled by Muhammad Iga for UBC News.
You're still watching the weekly news roundup. The Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises this week objected the government move to pay city tycoon Bosco Muwonge Uganda shillings 380 billion Uganda shillings over a 10-acre piece of land in Kisenyi to accommodate street vendors and hawkers loitering in the streets of Kampala. Now, during a familiarization tour of different assets disposed of wrongly and queried in the Auditor General's report to Parliament of 2021-2022, the chairperson of COSASE, Joel Sanyonyi, appealed to KCCA to follow lawful procedures to halt negotiations that seek to have public land sold to an individual at the expense of the taxpayer.
A fortnight back, the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises started probing KCCA on a number of queries reflected in the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2021-2022. Top among issues queried by the Auditor General was the management of land under KCCA. The Auditor General's report indicates that some of the land owned by KCCA had no titles. Plot 71 at Nkrumah Road, queried in the Auditor General's report as having been acquired fraudulently, was the first stopover of COSASE committee members during the familiarization tour that had KCC officials on board. The Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Chisaka, was also present to ascertain whether Securex Amenities Limited still lives to what was agreed on in 2010 upon granting it lease of the said property by Uganda Land Commission.
To the place that was supposed to be a health center, it's also very unfair. We waited for Ntaganda, he didn't appear in the committee. We are still waiting for him. We want to hear from him why he went away from the agreement.
The chairperson, COSASE Joel, revealed that Securex Amenities Limited was given a lease before it would be registered according to documents from Uganda Registration Services Bureau that formed the first illegality committed in the transaction. What is on ground is a business arcade with few parking slots, contradicting the lease agreement.
Now, the entire of it is a private facility. And yet in the lease agreement, however problematic the lease agreement was, they said, number one, 2 floors will be left for a health center for KCC. As you can see, the entire structure now is a private facility. And then the lease ceased to be. Of course, they also said they would provide adequate parking, lots of parking. As you have seen, there's just 17 parking slots.
The Executive Director, KCC Dorothy Chisaka, pledged to undertake full responsibility to reach the logical conclusion on how the queried land transaction was made, but sought for committee support in the undertaking.
We must uncover the rot which is there and put the city in order. We cannot condone a fraud. We cannot condone something which is not right.
The next destination for the probing team was in Kisenyi, where KCCA had allocated a 10-acre piece of land to vendors and hawkers who had become a menace in the streets of Kampala. The market is already occupied with vendors dealing in different commodities, ranging from food, vegetables and clothes. However, the committee was shocked to learn that city tycoon John Bosco Muwonge is demanding for Uganda shillings 380 billion from government to offer the land to KCCA.
380 billion shillings. We can use part of it to buy this property for the vendors and use another part of that money to build a good market for them. Because right now, You see their market structures, tarpaulin and all of that. When it rains, they cannot operate properly here.
It's okay for the traders to have space to do their work, but it is not okay to buy this space very expensively.
Despite the bloated sum of money put by City Tycoon for any willing buyer, Chisaka says negotiations to reach a final deal are underway.
Is the seller willing? Yes. Is the price agreeable? Not yet. So that's where we are. The issue is that the trading space must be got and we settle our vendors. So there is no debate about that. We are agreed with the parliamentarians. With regard to value, government has processes of determining value, and government wants value for money. So we cannot buy something which is exorbitantly priced.
While the land deal seems to be lucrative, a document spelling out contestation about the ownership of this piece of land by John Bosco Mwonge was adduced. The mayor, Kampala Central Division Salimu Uhuru, was not in agreement with the adduced document, saying the Buganda Land Board has not expressed any reservations about the said land.
Have you seen Buganda complaining? Because the mother title is under Buganda. Buganda is not complaining, so who else is complaining?
In another development, construction works along the Rubiji water channel have stalled due to land contestations following alleged claims of ownership by 27 people demanding for compensation.
Challenge with some of the people who are making claims. And when a person makes claim on a place that you are working on, you have to first settle that claim before you finish the construction.
Which should be one of the major catchment areas. Work has stalled for quite a bit of time, as they have explained to us. And so we are telling them, engage as quickly as you can with whoever, communities and all of that. You know, it should not be an impossibility.
The team also toured Mulago Cancer Institute Road to understand why the cost of a road is too high. This project of 1.78 kilometers of road cost 8.5 billion shillings. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Kampala.
Although Kampala has a total of 99 parishes, residents from the 15 zones of Muyenga Bukasa parish risk being left out of the program due to some administrative issues that they have to sort out, with cases here over the implementation of the program in the parish. According to the national PDM guidelines, each parish is supposed to get 100 million Uganda shillings.
Muyenga Bukasa parish residents near Kampala risk losing out on PDM opportunity if they do not reconcile with KCCA over the allocation of the PDM funds. Muyenga residents and leaders still maintain that they have 3 separate parishes of Namuongo, Muyenga and Bukasa, which should receive 300 million shillings. A situation which led KCCA to first halt Muyenga Bukasa parish from the program. This was the parish PDM meeting held at the parish offices, led by the chairman, Yasin Omar.
PDM in Uganda cannot work if the heart of Uganda, which is Kampala, is not streamlined. The Service Commission conducted interviews according to the Attorney General's letter and advice, but City Council went and put their own people, friends and children of their friends, that they will be the one in charge of accountability of PDM. So that's the problem.
It had been considered as one parish, but we as leaders of Bukasa, we put in our concern to request for the 3 parishes to benefit from this money, because Bukasa is no longer one, they are now 3 parishes.
They also expressed concern that the parish PDM administrators for Muyenga were recruited from Salama parish, as opposed to the guidelines that they should be recruited from the very parish. Some residents, however, noted that they had almost lost hope in PDM talk until the president resurrected it this week.
Really, you're right. We were really frustrated. We had lost hope in this program because since we got our certificates of the enterprises, we had never gotten any meeting to enlighten us what's going on. But as today, Mzee Yasin LC has called us for this meeting. At least we've got some hope that this man is going to come.
nakubanoonyeza ssente zebyo byensobola.
Youth Center next week to finally resolve the problem.
The Ministry of Health this week launched a TB awareness campaign in preparation for World TB Day. Director General of Health Services, Dr. Henry Mwebesa, explains that the country registers at least 90,000 new cases of TB every year, and it is likely to increase if sensitization and screening is not done in time.
Ministry of Health, in collaboration with USAID, is launching a campaign to raise awareness regarding dangers of tuberculosis and how to avoid it. The campaign has been launched at Namawojolo Market in Mukono district, where various diseases were tested. While launching the campaign, the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Henry Mwebese, asked people to go for a checkup to know their status.
I also want to encourage people not to stigmatize the people who have TB. If your brother, you can have your brother has TB, your friend, your workmate, your wife, anybody can get TB. Any of us here can get TB. The most important thing is to make sure that that person who has TB receives the treatment.
Mary Nabukenya, the project coordinator from USAID, said their aim is to support government in fight against all diseases in the country.
We are here to demonstrate what is expected out of every district teams, what they should be doing in this week. So they helped us, they demonstrated the screening for TB for the patients that are clients they found here, the people of this market, Namawojolo Market, that what they expect everyone, every district, the health workers to be doing in all the hotspots, those areas where we think that TB is likely to be more.
Mukono Deputy RDC Henry Chitambula pointed out some of the main causes of the disease and urged people to pay more attention and follow the rules given by doctors. The campaign will take 1 week and it focuses on crowded areas such as markets in districts in Mukono, Wakiso and Kampala.
UBC Weekly News Roundup. Enthusiasm is rising in Kigezi sub-region in southwestern Uganda ahead of the border reopening Thanksgiving ceremony slated for next month. Addressing a press conference at the launch of the activities towards the Thanksgiving ceremony, Kabale District Chairperson said that they highly appreciate Mohozi's contribution to ensuring the reopening of the borders. Well, pardon us for that technical hitch. Those updates will be coming your later in our timely news hours and updates right online. Now, moving on, universities across the country perform cultural galas celebrating their rich African cultural diversity. One such event this week took place at the International University of East Africa with more than 10 cultural associations performing.
After weeks of fervent preparations, curtains went down at International University of East Africa for the annual Cultural Gala with the representation of over 10 cultural associations showcasing their rich, diverse cultural heritage. From Baganda in central Uganda to Somalis and South Sudan, the Horn of Africa, one by one they showcased their cultural heritage, African beauty at its best, fine and agile waists, strewn with colorful beads, vigorous choreography and smiling faces was a clear indication to show how proud people are of their culture.
It's not only important that we teach our students the bits and bytes and the knowledge that is necessary to forge a better industrial revolution, the fourth industrial revolution, but to also let them know who they are, where they are coming from, to let them know that the rich culture that we have in Africa is a source of pride, that it is also a source of unity. So every year we come together as a group and we celebrate our cultures. As you can see, we have people from all over the continent. Of course, just today we are showcasing people from DRC, from Nigeria, from Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, the whole thing. But we have people from over 43 cultures here at IUEA. I'm able to show other people about how my culture is, even though we are not at home. So it feels really nice for people to come and ask you about what's this, like, especially for the food. I was there right now, and then people were like, okay, what's this, how do you eat it? So it feels really amazing for people to be able to know that this is what you have in your culture.
The IUEA Vice Chancellor Dr. Emeka Akezua notes that the annual Cultural Gala is organized to appreciate the rich cultural diversity of different cultures on the African continent. The annual event, however, had taken 2 years without taking place due to COVID-19. Joshua Kagoro, Joel Vuya, UBC News.
Very amazing indeed. Now, residents of Katongole Zone in Bokassa Makindye Division are lamenting over a stalled compensation exercise by Uganda National Roads Authority to pave way for the construction of Jinja-Kampala Expressway. These residents are now seeking for the Prime Minister's intervention.
It is alleged that in 2014, Uganda National Roads Authority, UNRA, embarked on the compensation process for residents of Katongole Zone in Bokassa Makindye Division to pave way for the construction of Jinja-Kampala Expressway.
Several years ago, we came with the UNRA people, took measurements of the places, identified houses that have to be demolished, identified areas where people used to plant food that they had to vacate, and valuation was made. Values to be given to these people were disclosed to them in 2019.
Close to 10 years, the project is not only a no-show, but many residents have not met their compensation package.
But unfortunately, up to today, since 2014, 2019, no money has been passed over to some of these people who you see here.
Their agreements were taken, they cannot get a loan, they cannot sell, they cannot develop, like no renovation. Now, in short, their right of ownership were taken away from them.
So most of the houses here fall down, and people ran from this place and they came to a church. Some of them are sleeping to a church so that the church at the times when it is night, it becomes full. Not because the people have come to pray, but they have come to get shelter.
Madina Nachansi, a mother of 4, and Namudu Christine are among those living a hopeless life.
Abaludde bamala okutubalirira batugana okukola ekintu kyonna ku nnyumba awakaawo. Ennyumba ekiseera kyatuuka netendalirwa neegwa nezika ebibaati nentetenkanya nebigaana. Nga bwe mumanyi obufumo bubeera musajja yekyanga munaatambulamuko. Ne ku ssaawa eno wendi ndi wano ku kkubo nkumira abaana bange naye embeera gye mpitamu si nnungi.
Tubadde tusaba mama Nabbanja awulire ensonga zaffe basobole otuwa ssente alabe kagina batuwe ssente zaffe abayunula batuwe ssente tufuneko abaana we tubateeka banaye kati ettaka abaddi buli ssaawa lirinnya abaana tebasoma abaana batudde waka tetulina kyakulya.
Although a few were compensated in 2019, the biggest number is not sure of their package.
At times, these are the things that used to abuse the government, you know. You have come, you have assessed someone, you promised him that I'm going to pay you this, I'm going to give you that, and then at the end of the day you fail to pay.
For the local leaders, their attempts to follow up the process and matter have on several occasions yielded nothing.
We are also at the edge of the end, whereby we cannot hold on the people. We don't know what is next.
Therefore, we appeal to the Prime Minister, Madam Nabanja, please come and help this situation, save our people from the condition they are going through.
NRM government, these are the very things which let it down. So I'm seeking to you, Madam Prime Minister, and UNRWA, that please come and compensate these people so that they can go anywhere and also do and work on themselves.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Moving on, stakeholders in environmental conservation and protection were this week urged to collaborate through putting resources together to address the climate-related challenges. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water and Environment, Alfred Okot, who represented the third Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama, expressed the need for financial support towards conservation of the environment and water resources.
Uganda has for several years suffered severe climate-related challenges like floods, deforestation, mudslides and famine that have in the long run affected the day-to-day life of citizens.
The loss of forests and wetlands through massive use of biomass, fuel for cooking, combustion combined with other drivers, which include but not limited to agricultural land, rapid urbanization, have put a lot of pressure on water and environment resources. Thus, the conservation of water and environment resources needs urgent attention, and the interventions should aim at creating incomes and assets for the people as well as provision of education to communities.
The impact of such new arrivals cannot be underestimated at all. The impact on the environment is real, and we feel it in the refugee settlements. Last year, floods destroyed about 1,000 family latrines in Palorinia and Atubani settlements, costing more than $1 million to rehabilitate them. This is just a small example of what the environment is doing in the refugee settlements.
Government and non-governmental organizations plus development partners working on environmental protection have been urged to put together financial resources to support the water and environment sector in curbing problems related to climate change.
We need to optimize partnerships and harness the synergies amongst stakeholders such as the private sector, religious institutions, cultural institutions, the NGOs, academia, and other government agencies.
Government through Ministry of Water and Environment has committed to prioritize financial mobilization to address effects of climate change on the environment.
I pledge the commitment of government to continue prioritizing issues of water, environment, and climate change and ensure adequate financial resources are mobilized.
During the closure of the week-long event, young scholars who proposed solutions to climate change effects from both lower and higher institutions of learning were awarded. Marion Awori and Annette Sana for UBC.
Over 700 residents of Chikuba zone near Kampala this week received free medical care services during a medical camp organized by Rotary Club Muyenga Tankil and its partners. The president of the Rotary Club, Muyenga Tankil Rita, explained services rendered, namely family planning, cancer screening, among others, are provided to residents, as in those within the area, because this is a vulnerable slum. Now, Rita asserts that the club is driven by the desire to change communities that are around it.
Access to medical care services is a challenge, especially to those living in slum areas. To residents of Chikubamutwe zone, it was relief as they received medical care services. Kataseu Rotary Club, Muyenga Tank Hill and partners.
Typhoid, tuberculosis. Then we have other specialist services like dental, optical, cancer screening.
Residents were eager to receive the services. The venue was filled to the brim.
I want
to know my HIV status. I'm in the waiting line to see the doctor.
Before one, and we have seen close to 250. So we are hoping it's going to be even more.
Residents have been advised to take responsibility of their health. As the saying goes, prevention is better than cure.
Good health starts with you, and it starts with good health practices. Prevention of disease is important so that you do not fall sick. Kindly take care of your health. Start with hygiene, because hygiene is a breeding ground for a lot of diseases.
Community leaders say mobilization is key to ensure general cleanliness in the area to prevent diseases like diarrhea.
We've also worked with community leaders to make sure that everyone can reach this center and access the health services.
UBC News.
Break. When I return during a business update, we shall be finding out and listening from the president. He'll be explaining to us how the NRM government has enabled our economic system to change through the phases.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Hey!
Paying your bills the old way.
Let's go. Just need to buy some power.
Paying your bills with the My Airtel app.
Bro, there's a line.
You have the power in your pocket. The power to instantly pay your bills hassle-free. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
Oh, you're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're descending into Entebbe Airport.
For those proceeding to Kampala City, the biggest event in East Africa is in town.
That's right, the East African Business Expo 2023 is happening from the 23rd to the 26th of March at Kololo Grounds. Join us to network, connect, and grow. Contact us for exhibition or sponsorship opportunities. The 14th East African Procurement Forum and Business Expo 2023 is hosted by PPDA.
Now sit back and relax. It's time to explore great business opportunities.
Fish farming expo and training. Ekajansi ku aquaculture research and development center kutandika Friday ngabiri munya paka Sunday ngabiri mukaga March ngome biri mwabiri mwesa sawa biri zo kumacha bali runaku kosirenya kumitano zokka no mutwalo kubone training jangu oyiko kuongera ku makungula ne sente zofuna mu byenyanja oyike babalusa endisa nekola emere ebyenyanja endwadde nezijanja bayabyo ero bikumotya ngabira mwate ngabya mutindo omwoleso kujide bakukuberere mu byenyanja bouncing kazo zabana ebisanyu santoko endoko kasiku okuva mu bayimbi ba Uganda benjawulo eno olaba oyiga ng'atonyumirwa obulamu Fishwise kuba essimu 0702 mukaga 2205 oba 0772 mukaga 26 okumanya ebisingawo tosubwa omwoleso gw'ebyennyanja oguwagiddwa nawo nga gutegekeddwa Slick Stars.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back. Pleasure to have your company once again. You're still watching the weekly news roundup. Now getting to our business updates. Our government is focusing on providing a conducive environment and infrastructure to facilitate the broader utilization of ICTs to spur social and economic development. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zaweda says the sector is essential in bridging the gender division in addition to accelerating the achievement of Uganda's money economy and the Vision 2040 agenda.
Access to information is for economic growth. It is vital in effectively delivering services that touch the needs of the citizens. The citizens get empowered to access service and participate in governance. Uganda has developed information, communication and technology infrastructure as a global commitment to improve digital inclusion and to realize the Sustainable Development Goals. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zaweda, told UBC that the plan conforms to the National Planning Framework, the National Development Plan 2 and Vision 2040. Adoption and utilization of ICTs has empowered Ugandans and conforms to government's social and economic growth agenda.
We have done the extension of the backbone to over now, I think, 40% to 50% of the country. To date, we boast of every out of 100 Ugandans, 55 Ugandans have a phone and others are connected to the internet. Then in terms of the services, we have many services going online for government and in the private sector. I think in the banking industry, everyone does online banking.
However, stakeholders in the tech space still lament the cost of broadband, unfavorable policies, high taxation of imported internet-enabled gadgets and devices.
So we are urging all players to collaborate and work with one another, work with the government, work with the private sector to make sure that the digital system is safe, secure and affordable. Because at the end of the day, there can't be financial inclusion if there is no accessibility, affordability and availability.
Inadequate access to the bandwidth that has limited
the access to internet itself. And so the procurement or the purchase of what amount of bandwidth has been expensive.
These are concerns, but the state of affairs and demand for data are driving internet uptake and could eventually lower costs.
If we have few users online, then the maintenance of this network is all going to come onto these few users. So we want to bring more users online. We have so many youths in this country, and we're saying if everyone is hooked onto, the internet, then we'll be able to have a high turnover of services being engaged on. We'll have revenue generated out of the services that they're being hooked onto. Right now, it is not the case. So that is why you find the cost high. Okay. So now, how do we get more people to get online? They need devices. They need a phone. They need a laptop. But these gadgets are expensive. So we're saying, if we can have subsidies on these devices or taxes waived and we get more people online, then we'll eventually get the cost of internet down.
But government is committed to bridging the gender divide in the digital space, which is in line with this year's International Women's Day theme, Digital Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality.
The advice I give to the girl child out there is to believe in themselves. I think I always have motivational placards. Yeah, motivational placards in my office for anyone who visits. There are many more. Some of them are, you have to do it right now. Otherwise, if you don't seize the moment and opportunity now, then it is gone. So I urge all girls that, I am here, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of ICT, a woman who has been raised as a girl and has done sciences, but it is about believing in yourself and that you can do it.
Statistics show that once broadband penetration reaches a critical mass of more than 30%, it significantly impacts on job creation, gross domestic product GDP, broadening of educational opportunities, rural development, and enhancement of public service delivery. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best school fees I teach you. When I go to which the muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry card.
Okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
And you're still watching the Weekly News Roundup now, taking you to the international updates coming through. Our President Vladimir Putin has reportedly paid a surprise visit at Mariupol, a Ukrainian port city captured by Russian forces after they pounded much of it to ruins. An official video shows Mr. Putin driving a car through streets at night, then visiting a concert hall. It would be Mr. Putin's first visit to a newly occupied Ukrainian territory, TASS news agency says. He went there by helicopter and met some local people. In the video, a Russian official is heard explaining to Mr. Putin how the city is being rebuilt. Mariupol has been under Russian occupation for more than 10 months after being devastated in one of the longest and the bloodiest battles of the conflict. Reports of the visit come a year after Moscow launched an airstrike on a Mariupol theater where hundreds of civilians were sheltering. The building collapsed and at least 3 300 are believed to have died there. Ukraine and human rights groups say the attacks mounted to a war crime. It is among incidents for which Mr. Putin and his regime could be held legally responsible, the United Nations has said. The International Criminal Court said on Friday it had issued a warrant for the arrest of Mr. Putin over alleged war crimes involving the illegal deportation of Ukrainian children to Russia. It means he could now be arrested if he sets foot in any of the court's 123 member states. Still on the international scene, taking it to the U.S., where former U.S. President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested on Tuesday and has urged his supporters to launch mass protests. However, his lawyer said there had been no communication from law enforcement and the former president's post was based on media reports. Prosecutors have been looking at a possible indictment of Mr. Trump. Reports say it could come next week. If he's indicted, it would be the first criminal case ever brought against a former U.S. president. This case focuses on alleged hush money paid on Mr. Trump's behalf by his lawyer to porn star Stormy Daniels prior to the 2016 presidential election. It is one of the several cases in which the 76-year-old is currently being investigated, although he has not yet been charged in any and denies wrongdoing in each. Mr. Trump has pledged to continue his campaign to become the Republican nominee in the 2024 presidential election, even if he is indicted. Past efforts to investigate him, including two impeachment trials, the Russia investigation and the Mar-a-Lago raid, have tended to make him more popular with his base, so an indictment could have a similar effect. It is not yet known if he's going to be criminally charged this week or even beyond broad strokes what those charges might be. But with the former president predicting an arrest and calling for mass protests, this is a journey into unknown territory. Well, before we let you go, just a brief one for sports. The Pioneer Serena 63 Golf Series Championship, a brainchild of Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa in Kigo, has got a new partner, that is in Chigo. The championship started first March and climax on 3rd December 2023.
Golfers that have embraced the Pioneer Golf 63 Series Championship have cause to smile following entry of I&M Bank as the latest partner.
It's through events like this that we believe we play a pivotal role in the socio-economic development of this country. And we also look at this as an opportunity for our clients and our prospective clients to actually come together and learn from the rest of the people who will be taking part in this. Create markets and business opportunities for their respective organizations. And by doing that, we believe that we should be able to grow the private sector in this country.
The Serena Golf 63 Series Championship is a 40-week, 36-round, 18-hole championship that is to be played by more than 200 amateur golfers.
As I&M Group, we do run a golf tournament, an invitational golf tournament in the last quarter of the year. And we pledge that the top 5 in this tournament here, the golf series, will be invited to join the I&M Group invitational tournament in Kenya. In addition to that, we shall also continue to support the activities around organizing this event, and please feel free to always call upon us to provide some financial support here and there in order to ensure that this event comes out successfully.
Despite already being underway, its registration deadline is 1st April and is open to both members and non-members of Lake Victoria Serena Golf Resort and Spa.
Right now, it's we are in week 2. We've so far, as of this morning, have got 74 entries, and we're halfway through the month. We're really happy because our target initially with setting this out was around the 63 mark.
In terms of prizes, it's arguably the biggest golf event in the region, where the several goodies worth 36 million Uganda shillings, and these include foreign trips and annual membership for non-members. The 63 in the name of the championship derives its origin from the course record of 63 gross set by Kenya's Dismas Indiza on his way to the Uganda Golf Open in 2019. John Barnes, Sentamu, UBC News.
Well, thank you for watching, following, and for your company. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Stay with us because we have a lot lined up for you as far as this weekend is concerned. Well, wishes for a fruitful week ahead. My name is SANDRAH KAHUNDE, and greetings from the team behind the scene.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Jerry Con! Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Buy Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best movies I teach you. When I go to Muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. Will buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, wait. Jerry,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Omwoyo omutukuvu ngaze sinza kusigala nga bwendi asumulula byonna ebyansiba obwedda asangula amaziga gange ayugumya byonna nze nensumulula sinza kusigala nga bwendi omwoyo omutukuvu ngaze
kubanga abamu ndabye nga abamu onyumirwa music noddabuule oluyimba bwe luzikira nga nawe ozikira